Storage is always an issue for all homeowners. Today on For Your Home, we're going to be showing you how we're using organizational skills to solve some of those issues. Then we're going to go out to the backyard to discuss pavers, into the front yard to talk about how to keep your grass green year-round. It's called artificial turf. Then we're back indoors to find out what's the newest technology in home lighting. It's all coming up today on For Your Home. Storage is a problem for all homeowners. You know, there's number one place where most of us like to stash our stuff. It's the garage. Our next guest, Justin Evans, knows how important it is to make the right selection when you're putting a garage together. Hey, Justin.
Hey, Vicki, how are you?
Good. Glad to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we worked last season on the project house with a garage door. It's nice to have you back. Okay, this house, unlike my house, which was more traditional, is contemporary.
Yes.
And so when I started looking for garage doors, I'm thinking, okay, that's the biggest thing you see when you pull up to this house. You can't even see this house until you get past the garage.
Hey, we appreciate being front and center. That's fine.
I bet you do. In most neighborhoods, that's the way it is. The garage door is the biggest thing you see.
True.
So it's an important decision. And so for contemporary, I wanted it to all flow together. So it was fun. I went on your website, I loaded up a picture of the house, and I kind of played around with some different styles to try to figure out what to do right here.
Yeah, the door imagination system on our website allows you to try on doors like you try on clothes. And on this home, we took a look at a couple different options. A flush door, just a steel plain flush door, had that contemporary look you were going for, but was a little too subtle for you.
Yeah.
You wanted a little more of an impact. We looked at the Avante collection, which is an aluminum panel, or glass panels with aluminum frames, full vision. It really had that wow factor, but it was a little too much for the rest of the neighborhood.
Yeah, and I thought if I went that way, I would have to probably buy a Ferrari to park inside of it, so it would really show it off.
You got to show it off, yeah.
And since that wasn't an option, we chose instead to go with a carriage house door. Okay.
And a carriage house door, we call a carriage house door the door that looks like it swings open. You can see the handles here that make that appearance of swinging open. Even though this door operates, it goes up like a standard garage door. Yeah.
Right.
And this door is constructed, like you were talking about, this is a little bit different. This door is constructed of steel with a composite overlay. And the benefits of that is you get the look of wood without the maintenance.
And that's really important. And this, you know, this is a western exposure on this side.
Yep.
So it's going to get a lot of heat and a lot of sunshine on it. And a wood door would have to be refinished every year if we'd gone that route.
Right.
Okay.
In terms of heat, you make a good point as well. This door is constructed with our IntelliCore insulation technology, which helps insulate the garage, which you might not necessarily think of, but in terms of storage, it makes sense.
Yeah, because if you're storing, you know, liquids and items inside the garage, it gets too hot, boom.
Right, yeah, you don't want your liquids drying out or
your
pipes
beer popping the lid.
We do not want any beers
No,
exploding.
absolutely
That would be
not.
a bad thing.
You know, let's talk about cold though, because
Yeah.
insulation works in both directions,
Right.
hot and cold.
Right, yeah. You know, last winter was incredibly cold, and a lot of folks that have pipes that run through the garage or in adjacent rooms, those pipes were freezing and bursting. Keeping the garage itself warm and the adjacent rooms warm, a garage door that's insulated can really help that.
Yeah, and that's really important because that adds up to a lot of cost and a lot of
Right.
bad news to the homeowner, that's
No
for
doubt.
sure. Okay, so I love the color of it.
Okay.
All right, and if the new homeowners here decide they want to go to a different color, can it still be painted?
Sure. You know, you can paint this door. It's just use a latex-based paint, no oil-based paint, and you can paint it for, our website has all the instructions on how to properly paint it.
Okay, well, I think it's a great selection. I think it goes with the house. It's not over-the-top contemporary, and at the same time, it's fresh and it's interesting. So I always like it when you give me a hand with these projects. It makes them go a lot smoother.
Thank you.
Now, once you've picked out the perfect garage door, you got to figure out how to get it open, right? Or it's no good to you. I chatted with our local garage door installer, Scott, and he gave me some great pointers about what's new in today's garage door openers. You do not know how excited all of us are to have a garage door that can open and close automatically.
Yes, it's amazing. These units, we take them for granted when they don't work.
The garage doors get so much more action than we really think they do.
Absolutely. This is one of our favorite models, the 8550. It has so many features for safety and convenience. One of them is the battery backup, which allows you to open and close your door 20 full cycles even after 24 hours of power outage.
You know, that's really important because with the superstorms that we have coming through the country now and all the power outages everyone seems to be experiencing, you know, there's nothing worse than being locked inside your garage unless it's being locked outside of your garage.
Absolutely.
So that's a good feature.
And one of the other features is the MyQ technology, which allows you to operate your garage door and monitor your garage door via your smartphone, laptop, or computer. And that works with the battery backup as well. If the power is out, you can still use the MyQ just like you would a remote and get in and out.
Okay, and that's really handy too, because if you're, you know, everybody wants to be able to use their smartphones and their tablets and all to do a lot of the things around their house, and most of us are gone and we're traveling around. So we can use that technology to open it or close it no matter where we are.
Yes, anywhere in the world. Say you're at work, you have a serviceman come into your house to do some work, he calls and says, hey, I'm here. You pull out your phone or computer and type in your code and let them in, and then they call you, say you're done, and then you close your door the same way you opened it.
I like that.
Very nice.
You know, I also like safety because that's really important, and this has the sensor on it so that if anybody, you know, runs underneath it or there's a pet sitting there at the door.
Nothing gets crushed.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah.
It shoots a beam across, and then when something does break the beam, the lights up there flash, indicating that it is a sensor issue.
Okay.
So it's very...
So you don't think your garage door is just not working, right?
Right, yes, it lets you know, indeed.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that it has is the remote light. It enables you, when you push the button on the remote to open or close your garage door, the lights in your house go on. So if your hand's full, come inside, the light's already on.
Well, that's a great technology. You know, all of those things I think are really important. But to me, just to have a garage door that goes up and down is a big treat. I want to make sure, though, that you leave me one of those remote controls.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I don't want to have to walk through the mud that's outside anymore. This is going to be my favorite friend
Yes,
right
getting
here.
in and out with the push of a button.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, I really appreciate it. I'll let you finish up on your project.
You're very welcome.
Thank
Have a nice day.
Our garages have to provide a lot of good, clean storage space. You know, you can take an old garage and you can give it a great facelift if you work with some real pros. Ron, you're with Garage Experts, and I know you spend every day in people's garage. It doesn't sound very exciting, but when I see the work you do, I find it pretty exciting. So what do you find people wanting to do out there?
Well, it really begins with the floor, Vicki. People choose a style, and it leads into our cabinetry and our slat wall and different uncluttering ideas.
And so do you think that once somebody gets the floor looking really great, that then everything else just kind of like, oh, now we got to go step two?
Correct. It just kind of flows from there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, I think that we all have our own personalities and our own styles, and we were talking about selecting a garage door earlier and picking that style up because that's what everybody sees when they approach most people's houses. But once that garage door goes up, it's got to look just as good on the inside as it does on the outside. Now, Mark, you do all the heavy lifting, so to speak, here, right? So tell me the process that you're about to perform in here in this garage.
Is what we do is we take and first we industrial diamond grind the floor, and that
Okay.
opens the pores of the concrete real good, gets any oil or grease stains out of the floor.
You sort of wipe out 30 years of grime, huh?
Absolutely, pretty
Yeah.
much get the floor whited out like it is right here.
Uh-huh.
Then we take our 97% solids epoxy, we put the epoxy down, and we throw the vinyl flake into that while it's still wet.
Okay, so this is what we're going to be putting down on top of it?
Yep.
That, you know, this looks different. I'm used to seeing the little flakes in garages I've seen that are really tiny like this.
Yep.
These are much bigger. Is this something new?
Yeah, this is the newest thing that we have on the market, and we're the only ones in the area that offer it. It's called a brindle flake, and it's got color throughout the flake. You can get it from 1 inch down to 1/8 inch.
And it comes in a lot of different colors or just
Yep.
primarily one or
Yep.
two?
We have hundreds of different colors that you could choose from.
Now, who knew your garage floor had to be in style and at the cutting edge as well? So I love that color, though. That's going to look really nice in here. All right, so once you get the flakes down in, what's your next step?
Once that sets up, we take and scrape that with scrapers. We scrape it smooth, collect the loose chips, and then we put a clear polyaspartic top coat on top of that.
Well, that sounds very official. Tell
Yep.
me what that does.
It's a 97% solids top coat, comes with a lifetime warranty. Our cabinets come with a lifetime warranty. Once that's down, you won't have a bit of problem with your garage for as long as you own your home.
Well, thanks, guys, for helping us turn this garage into a real showplace. It goes well with the work we're doing on the rest of the house.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Not all storage issues can be resolved in the garage. You know, this house has multiple closets and a pantry. Well-designed storage systems can really maximize the efficiency in these spaces. So I sat down and I laid out a plan for all of the closets. Then I met with our general contractor, Josh, to go over installation. Here's what we came up with. Let's start with the pantry. You know, I just love pantries. They're so practical. I've designed a lot of them over the years, and the one thing I've learned is the importance of versatility. I like a system that lets the homeowner decide how they want to store their own stuff. Open shelving in the pantry, it can accommodate lots of food storage, and large wire baskets are perfect for storing bulk supplies. I also like to incorporate drawers in almost every closet I design. They help you organize small items and keep everything contained. In the master bedroom, we have 2 walk-in closets. The larger closet has drawers for jewelry and accessories, plenty of hanging space for shorter items like pants and shirts, and then for longer items like dresses and coats. For shoes, I prefer to use shelves so they can do double duty. If you decide you want to use them for folded clothes, they work great. Again, it's all about that versatility. The smaller closet has lots of hanging space and closed cabinets for storing out-of-season items. I designed the same type of organized storage for the guest bedroom. We have drawers and multiple types of hanging spaces. The second bedroom will be used as an office, so I chose to install shelves with lots of great storage space. The front closet is the same size as the closet in my front foyer. I turned mine into a dining pantry to store table linens and serving pieces. I'll do the same with this one. Every closet in this house has been designed with the same adjustable storage system. That means that the new homeowners, they can make any adjustments they need to meet their storage requirements. All the systems are heavy gauge steel, so they're going to last a really long time. Did you know the kind of lighting controls that you install in your closets can help you enjoy them more and make it safer for you and your family? Well, this is John Krause, and he's with Eaton, and they manufacture all types of lighting controls for today's homeowners. Hey, John.
Hi, Vicki.
Let's start with those closets. What kind of controls have we installed in there?
Well, in this house, we've installed occupancy sensors, and occupancy sensors are devices or wiring devices like switches that actually sense movement and turn the lights on in a room when you enter.
So if you walk in the closet, it comes on.
And when you leave, it has a countdown timer, and it turns the lights off after a short period of time.
Can I adjust that timer?
You can.
Okay, I love that idea. You know, for kids who are always leaving their lights on. It also seems like to me it'd be a great safety feature because we have a pantry, and we've installed one of them in the pantry. And when you're going in there, you could be dangerous.
That's right. When you come home, a lot of times both hands are full and you're walking into a dark pantry. So it's great to have that light turn on automatically. And if it's like my house where I have things sitting on the floor, it removes a trip hazard.
Yeah, I like that. What are some other kind of safety features that you're incorporating in homes today?
So in this home, we've actually installed several different safety features. One of them is an AFCI breaker. We also have GFCI breakers, and we have TR receptacles.
Okay, and what are they? How do they function, and why are they important?
AFCI breakers are actually very important. And what an AFCI breaker does is it senses for unintended arcs within your home.
Okay, what is an arc? How would that happen?
So an arc happens when a conductor is exposed and an unintended arc would go between the conductor and let's say insulation or your drywall.
Okay, so like if I were hanging a picture on the wall, moving into my new home, and I'm hammering a nail in there, if I hit that wire, that's going to expose that copper wire.
That's right. That's very common actually, to put a nail in the wall and you nick that copper wire, and then you've exposed that copper to the surrounding insulation.
A flame or a fire.
You could potentially cause a fire.
That's a great safety feature. And so I like the lighting controls, I like the safety feature. How about the other plugs?
So the other plugs, we're actually using TR receptacles. And what those do is they have shutters inside the receptacle that block foreign objects from being entered.
Okay, so like a little kid couldn't stick a key into there or something?
Right. A little kid, it would keep little kids from sticking keys or safety clips or anything like that within the receptacle, and potentially removing electric shock.
You know, even if you don't have little children at your own house, you have them visiting you, like your grandchildren and all, so that's a great feature. I love that one. Okay, so now let's talk though about one of my great loves, which is the decorative look of things. You know, I noticed when Gus was installing the switches that they're different. They're more of a paddle than the old toggle.
That's right. These switches are an upgraded look from a standard toggle switch, and they do have that paddle or contemporary look, and the receptacles do as well. And then on top of those, we would recommend that we use a screwless wall plate.
You know, I saw those and I'm going, how do those attach to the plug if you're not going to have screws on it?
Screwless wall plates are actually a two-piece system. One is screwed to the device, just like a standard wall plate, and then the decorative portion closes over it and snaps to it.
And you can pop them right off if you're going to
Pop
repaint
it
the
off
room and get them
anytime
off.
you want. That's
Love
right.
it. Don't have to lose those screws anymore when I repaint. Like that idea. Okay, let's talk about dimmers, because I think dimmer switches really are the best way to enhance the ambiance in a room. Like in a dining room fixture, where else have we put dimmers in the house?
So we can put dimmers in bedrooms or in kitchens themselves or in living rooms even, anywhere you want to create a certain ambience.
Yeah, you know, I like to put a dimmer switch on pendants, like over the island, because a lot of times if you're having a party, you just want to put that down low, but you still want to have the light, but you want it to look really great.
Right, and looking great, and it also saves money by reducing the energy consumption of those lighting.
Well, you know,
fixtures.
I think that anytime that we can save money and get a great look, I'm all over that. I'm also all over this little guy right here. Tell me about him, because I'm thinking I can charge in my phones and all without having to look for devices.
So Vicki, what this is a duplex USB receptacle. Duplex meaning it has two places that you can plug in a regular alarm clock or a light. And then it also has two USB ports. So any device that uses a USB port to charge can also be charged with this. However, you don't have to have the big bulky adapter that you see normally plugged into the wall.
And you know, you can still have access to those two plugs, because that's an issue like in my bedroom where I've got a lamp,
And
a clock radio,
and
I
all
want to
that.
charge at the same
So
time.
with this allows you to charge your phone or your tablet device and still keep those other devices installed.
Okay, well, I'm just going to put this in my pocket and take it over to my house because I think I really need it.
I'll send you the bill.
Thank you, John, so much. I really like the type of technology that we're incorporating into the house.
Thanks for having me, Vicki.
We've been talking about ways today that you can take control of your house rather than it control you. Well, you know, a beautiful lawn doesn't have to be all work and no play. This is Jeff Gross, and he's with Artificial Turf Products, and he's made it his mission to give people beautiful lawns year-round without all the work, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I think it's a great mission.
Well, we've been in business since '98. Over the years, the products have really evolved, and what you've got here in front of you, you can see is a very realistic synthetic turf product that looks great year-round.
Well, you know, I like the fact that it is no maintenance. That's the great thing about it. But I also like the fact that it can be green whenever you look out your window.
Correct.
All right? Well, let's talk about the way that you get it installed onto a project. Now, David's guys came in here and built these retaining walls for us because we had a bad erosion problem. We figured the best way was to lift this area up and then just kind of focus on this as the beauty spot with some turf and some landscape plantings. So these areas on each side of the walkway is where we need to get some turf in here. How will you proceed from this point?
What we will do is put about a 2-inch layer of 78 stone, which is a small angular aggregate product, over top of what they've got
Okay, so
here.
what size is that?
About a
rock
quarter
gonna be?
inch,
Quarter-inch?
but not diameter because it's angular. We put that down, we put the aggregate is compacted, we put the turf in, secure it to the nailer, and we put 2 pounds per square foot of a round quart silica sand in the turf with a drop spreader. We broom it in, it goes right to the bottom of the turf, you'll never see it, and that's there primarily for ballast.
Okay, just to keep the turf down.
Keep it weighted down, yeah.
Okay, do you ever have to go back in and add more sand over
Shouldn't
time?
have to.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, that's cool. So that it doesn't have any more maintenance. Let's talk about an issue that I think a lot of people would be concerned about is fading.
Over time, it can fade. The thing that makes it fade most dramatically, obviously, is the sun. But over the lifespan of the turf, which is probably 12 to 15 years, it is not going to be something that's really discernible to your eye.
Okay, so it'd be kind of like a car, like
Something like
a
that, yeah.
10-year-old car. Okay, so we don't have an issue there with the fading, but let's say something happens to it and it has to be replaced. Can you come in and patch a section, or do you have to take it all out?
You can, if a tree branch were to fall on it, for example, and punch a hole in it, normally we can just repair that without putting a new piece in.
Okay.
But typically when we install it, we will leave you an extra piece of turf if something should happen that we would have to replace it.
Okay, so that's great. That's great. Okay, let's talk about the maintenance ongoing through a period of time.
Okay.
You know, if you have a regular lawn, first of all, it costs you money to get that sod down to begin with.
Correct.
And you know, you're spending like $3 a square foot on good sod. Then you've got to take care of all the lawn throughout the year. What is the ratio of savings over the cost of artificial versus natural?
Typically, an artificial lawn will pay for itself in 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
Because you don't have the costs associated with mowing, fertilizing, watering, so it's a pretty economical investment.
Yeah, because you were telling me how much an average person would spend on the lawn.
Yeah.
You know, and it really adds up over time.
Sure does.
Well, I think it's going to be a beautiful addition to the house. It's going to be maintenance free. No one's going to have to drag a mower up to the front of the
Right.
house to do it. And the new homeowners, every time they look out their windows, they're going to see this beautiful green lawn and they're going to thank you every day.
Great. We're looking
All
forward
right.
to it.
Now that we've found a solution for all the mud in the front yard, let's take a look at the backyard because it's a muddy mess back there. You know, here we have big picture windows that are going to look out on the backyard, and it's really going to extend that visually as well as the footprint of being able to flow inside and out all the time. So what would you suggest we try?
Well, so originally, I think what we like is the rectangle and square, which is going to be your standard 6x6 and 6x9 shape.
Okay, now do these come in other colors?
Yes, ma'am, they do. They come in any color in any region that you could ever imagine. And if we don't manufacture it, if you have something you're looking to match, such as a paint swatch, we can actually come very
up, huh?
close. Yes, ma'am.
Wow, that's excellent.
Yep.
Okay, what are these?
Now, these are going to be your traditional 4x8s. So this would be, if you've got an older home, it's made out of a brick, clay brick, obviously, and it's going to be in this exact shape. Typically, when you see it laid, it's going to be laid this way, going vertical. Now, when we lay those, we would lay them this way, and we'd make a nice little design.
Okay, now what is this? This is nice.
Yes, ma'am. This is going to be the same. This is your 4x8, but what we've done here is we've actually tumbled this, so we've given it a process of what you might see if you're familiar with Savannah or Charleston, where you kind of get that rumbled ballast stone look. What we're trying to do is emulate that. For a lot of older homes, prefer that.
That's pretty cool. I like that look a lot. Okay, what is this? That's a pretty big one we got here.
So what we're getting into at this point is this is what we call permeable paving.
And what does that mean?
What it allows is it allows the stormwater runoff, which goes into your drains, to not be as great. What we're doing is we're allowing water to go down in and hold.
And so those spacers hold it apart further than these?
Yes, ma'am. Yep. If you look, we've got some large spacer joints here. And then when we look at these guys, your spacer joint is going to be much smaller.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that water can go down, and can you redirect that water or recycle
You can,
it?
yes, ma'am. What you can do is you've got multiple options. We can recycle it and use it for irrigation. We can redirect it into a holding tank, or we can actually push it into a detention pond or retention pond.
That's pretty cool. I like that idea. That's a really green concept. That's
Yes,
a good
ma'am,
one.
it is.
Okay, so this is beautiful.
Yes, ma'am, and this is what we've chosen for your project.
Now, what do you mean by clifted? That it looks
Yes,
like
ma'am.
real stone.
By clifted, what you can see is it's got an irregular surface.
Okay.
Whereas when we look at these units, they're going to be smooth to the touch.
So this looks more like real stone to me.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. Yep, and that's the whole purpose behind it. What we're trying to do is emulate natural stone, which will actually work great for outdoor living versus having large gaps at a third of the cost.
I was going to just say, this has got to be less expensive than going with real stone on it. Now, this has like a faceted edge on it here too, which makes it look more like stone.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, what we do when we actually tumble these units, which this unit is tumbled, we tumble it in a different process. What we do is we actually use a bunch of small hammers, if you can imagine, and we just ping the tops. So when you're looking, you can see the side of this is kind of rounded, almost like a ballast stone again, but this is almost linear.
Wow. So you're just doing the surface on
Yes,
those
ma'am,
there.
just doing the surface.
Well, I think that this is great because we have these huge, big cypress timbers that are making up the pergola in the back of the house.
Right.
And we need something with some heft to carry that.
Yep.
And I think this is going to be a great alternative to that. Okay, so they put these down. They put sand between the pavers. And is there any kind of sealer or anything that has to go on them?
Yeah, you totally have that option. If you'd like to seal it to bring out a wet look, you're certainly welcome to. The great thing about this is it's a flexible paving system. So what we're going to afford is the opportunity when you have infrastructure underneath.
Boy, we do too. We've got gas lines running because we've got a patio flame going in. We got electrical going out there.
So this is going to be perfect because instead of a monolithic structure, what we now have the opportunity is we can go in and pick up pieces, fix whatever maintenance we have to do, and then
put it back
replace
down.
the pieces.
You mean we're not going to have to bring a jackhammer in like we did when we got rid of the last one?
Yes, ma'am, you're correct. And then you're not also going to see the multicolored layers of concrete if that's what you had poured, because it always varies.
Well, I think this is a great alternative. I think you're absolutely right. It was a good choice for this project. And, you know, I think the next time, though, I need to think about using some of these kind of pavers. You know, it's a good green feature.
Well, we'd love to help you out.
We're entering the final phases of this construction project, and our general contractor, Josh, I always love to have you on camera because then I can really hold your feet to the fire.
I know, it scares me every time.
So what's up next?
We're just starting to put the finishing touches on everything. We've got to install the shower glass in the master. We've got to finish the hardwoods. We've got to install the mantle and the pieces that go around it. Paint touch up and drywall, and really start to really make this place shine.
That's what the part I like, is really make it shine, you
Yep.
know? And so there's a few things I've been writing down and jotting down the list, so we can go over those.
Sure.
And, you know, we need to get some measurements for the sun tube.
That's
Because I
right.
forgot to tell you I wanted sun tubes in the house. So,
Hey, there's always something to make it interesting, right?
yeah, absolutely. So, all right, I'm going to, if you grab your tape measure, I'll meet you up in the attic. We'll measure for those sun tubes.
Okay, I'll grab my tape measure. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, you got it. You know, it's always nice to work with a contractor who's flexible, because I like to change my mind once in a while. Do you want to know more about the projects today or our guests? Visit us on the web. You're going to find great behind-the-scenes shots, streaming video, project ideas. We even have an e-newsletter with tips and ideas. It's foryourhome.com. The push is on for us to get this house done in 21 days, and I'm even counting the weekends. We have a big charity event and an open house tour planned for this house, so there's no slowing us down until we're done. Next time on For Your Home, we're going to be installing more lighting. We have fireplaces going in, a patio flame, and you know you want to learn more about that, plus beautiful faux finishes and landscaping. See you next time right here on For Your Home.
Okay, sounds good. I'll go grab my tape measure right now.
You know, it's always nice to be working with a contractor who's flexible, because I'm just about to come back. We've been talking about ways today that you can ready? And the homeowner can readjust, start over. Well, we made a big change here. We tore out walls, we raised roofs in places. No, let's start over. We didn't do that here. We did it at my house. Okay, ready?